suggest the Clothesline Project. It brings awareness to all of these terrible things people go through and gives them an avenue to talk about it.
Wow, every color has a different meaning. Well, I'm wearing an orange shirt, and I don't see an orange shirt up there. I could have sworn orange shirts have meaning too, don't they?
Orange shirts do have significance. Have you ever noticed a sea of orange shirts at the end of September? Well, this is not just a coincidence. On September 30th, people commemorate the survivors of residential schools by wearing orange shirts, hence the name Orange Shirt Day. According to Anishinaabe Ukrainian author and activist Patty Krawick, Orange Shirt Day was started by Phyllis Webstead, whose orange shirt was taken from her on the day she started at the St. Joseph Mission Residential School. In Canada, Orange Shirt Day is now a national holiday, the National Day of Truth and Reconciliation.
Wait a minute. What are residential schools?
Great question. Also referred to as boarding schools, residential schools were a common form of cultural erasure in North America. In such schools, Indigenous students' names were changed to white ones, and their hair was cut. They were forced to speak English, preventing students from communicating with their families, if they were allowed to see them at all.
Children were neglected, leading to malnutrition and illness. Survivors often experienced sexual assault, starvation, and child labor. The overall goal for residential schools was to kill the Indian and save the man, stripping all cultural significance and identity from these Native American people. The Indian Act resulted in children being taken away from their families and brought far away to attend a residential school. Children of residential school survivors are more likely to not live on a reserve and far away from their communities.
The way to separate people from the land is to separate them from cultural practices, then from their communities, and that is exactly what residential schools did. Not only did these boarding schools separate Native children from their families and attempt to eliminate Native languages and cultures, they also fostered inhumane conditions and practiced abuse, with instances where Native Americans who attended these schools were sometimes killed and found buried in unmarked graves.
Whoa, that's what orange shirts mean? Why have we never heard of this?
More people should know about this.
While Canada has acknowledged the harm of their residential schools and the United States takes the route of ignorance, the truth is that the damage that these residential schools have caused is irreversible, but not irreparable. Settler is not an identity, it is what you do. Learning about the history of the North American education missionary system, residential schools, and the horrors it has put Indigenous people through is more than important and starts the process of unforgetting and healing.
The University of Minnesota Morris was once a residential school called Morris Industrial School for Indians, established in 1887 by the Sisters of Mercy community of the Catholic Church under the United States government. One of the buildings from the residential school remains on the University of Minnesota Morris campus.
Records have been destroyed. Residential schools have been remodeled and renamed to become modern schools, universities, and churches. The past has been and continues to be erased, which reinforces the exact reason why remembering and holding the United States and Canada accountable is necessary.
There are steps that need to be taken in order to start the process of unforgetting and healing when it comes to the actions of these residential schools and the effects they have caused. Taking time to learn about the past is just the first step. Wearing these shirts recognizes the work we can do in the present.
Learning about the history of Orange Shirt Day is important because ignoring the horrors of the past in the North American education system is wrong. It only works to invalidate trauma and absolve these evils through ignorance. The survivors of these schools deserve to be acknowledged, and the victims of these schools deserve to be remembered.
Students at UMD should take time to learn about Indigenous history and learn the importance of days like Orange Shirt Day and why we honor them in the first place.